mystery, history, cryptid creatures, and paranormal activities. This is the Creeps and Crawls Mystery Hour podcast, and I'm your host, Creeps. Alright guys, so I did want to say that today we are partnered with Alive Shoes, and I do have 2 pairs up on their website. Alright, let's start out. The Greenbrier Ghost is the name that is popularly given to the ghost of Elva Zona Hester Shoe. She was a young woman who was murdered in Greenbrier County, West Virginia in 1897. She was initially suspected to have died via natural causes, but later it was determined that she died because she had been murdered by her husband after her mother testified in court that her daughter's spirit revealed the true cause of death. Zona's mother was against her daughter's match to her husband Erasmus Tribling Trout Shoe from the very beginning. He previously had had a criminal history of stealing horses that her mother may or may not have known about, and he had been married 2 times prior to marrying Zona. The first of his wives divorcing him after he abandoned his child, and the second wife died after he claimed to have accidentally dropped a brick on her head while making repairs to the roof of their home. What is known is that Zona's mother, upon meeting Erasmus, who was going by the name Edward at the time, instantly hated him, and despite her mother's hate for the man, her daughter and he eloped in the morning of her death in 1897. According to the Monroe Watchman, Erasmus left his blacksmith shop and visited a nearby home, asking the son if his wife wanted to send him to the store for anything, and the boy, upon finding Mrs. Shoe, found her lying on the floor dead. Later on, after Zona was unable to be revived, Erasmus asked for no further examination and began dressing Zona in her high-necked burgundy gown that she had wed him in, as well as a large veil that was tied to a large bow under her chin. When the body was seen by people who knew her, many stated her head seemed loose upon her body, and when the body was repositioned, it would swing from side to side, as if the neck and head were disconnected, and despite that being noted, Zona was buried with no charges against Erasmus. But of course, crazy begets crazy. In the middle of the night, Zona's mother saw a vision of her daughter's ghost, claiming her daughter had appeared to her. Zona's mother explained that her daughter had told her what really happened. Upon speaking with the county's prosecuting attorney and insisting that he speak with her, instead of brushing her off, he believed her, asking for names of possible witnesses and people with more information. He further looked into the case, starting with the doctor who called upon the home, who told him he didn't get a full examination of the body because of Erasmus, and he wanted to pursue Zona's body being exhumed and having a full autopsy to be performed. And upon her body getting the proper examination, they did find her neck broken and windpipe crushed, meaning Zona had been indeed strangled to death. After which a trial was held against Erasmus. The mother of Zona proclaimed that when her daughter came to her, she initially was only told that her daughter's husband was very angry because Zona had not prepared meat for supper. And the second time her daughter came to her, she proclaimed that her neck was crushed and her husband, for his anger, had done it. And when the doctor exhumed her, the ghost's claim was true, and the jury took less than an hour to deliberate, but as you can imagine, they determined in the ghost's favor. And they decided Erasmus was a murderer. Despite evidence being nearly circumstantial, the verdict met general approval, and despite the murder charge, he wasn't known to have a hot temper, but did have only one charge of abusing a wife. That's not a hot temper? And therefore became that he hadn't planned to kill his wife, and certain people claimed that he had no motive. and family members claim he didn't kill his wife, and that his extraordinary trial is a state of high. Due to his extraordinary trial, there is a state highway marker that sums up the significance. Only known case in which a testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer. Well, this interesting story is very true. I'm not sure what to think. I mean, a ghost testifying against her murderer through her mother? What is there to think? I mean, what do you guys think? I'd like to know down below. And while you're at it, do me a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons and tell me what you'd like to hear for future episodes. And with that being said, remember to stay creepy, my friends.